Remember Metroid Fusion? I played it almost 20 years ago. I was a dumb kid back then, so I didn't really get to enjoy the deep dive of the game. You know, the story, the actual theme, the level design, the atmosphere. I didn't even realize that it had a story. I just remember this game was fun. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what all these modern games are missing. They're missing enjoyment. They're missing gameplay first and foremost. They're missing passion. We're in a stage right now where modern gaming deserves to die. And I'm not saying this to be over dramatic. I'm not saying this for the views. I'm saying this because modern gaming isn't fun anymore. And I can prove it using 3 distinct points that apply to every single game out there, even the good ones. First point, over-bloated production. Modern gaming is wasting money on things that aren't important. Think of this as making better graphics. Think of this making better frame rates. Think of this as making better loading speed times. Is it important? Sure, but that's not gaming. That's not what is the essence of video games. The essence of video game is being in control. And that is only shown through gameplay. So all this waste of overproduction value, all of this waste into graphics, into GPU processing power, all of that is really a waste because they don't focus on making the game fun, making the gameplay fun. Second point, modern gaming has oversaturated their best games. This is most obvious when you think of all of the Call of Duties, when you think of all the Assassin's Creed, when you think of all the unnecessary Maddens, FIFAs out there. And the thing is, it's okay to sell the same franchise. I've bought basically all the Mario parties. I've bought all the Mario Strikers until the Switch. I've bought in all the Pokemon. That's not the problem of oversaturation. The problem is that they're making these games as lazily as possible, repeating the same formula that was successful and diluting every franchise along the way. If you don't get my point, then think of this. Super Smash Bros. Is the pinnacle of fighting crossover genre. Yet the last entry that it had, its story mode was a JPEG. It was just an image. I know Call of Duty, I haven't followed it recently, in recent years, but I know Call of Duty removed a lot of modes like zombies, like co-op multiplayer, campaigns, things like that. So they're selling us less content for the same amount of money. That is the definition of a ripoff. And they're using the excuse of point one, an over-bloated budget, to jack up the prices. So yeah, we may have removed the story mode. Yeah, we may have removed a campaign. Yeah, we may have removed a new mission mode. But at least it has better graphics. At least it's a better open world. When gamers don't really want that. Gamers want a better experience, a better gameplay. And the final point I want to make ties both of these points together. The CEOs, the directors, the head of these gaming companies, they're not a fan of the franchise of these games. They're a fan of the spreadsheet. They're a fan of the numbers. They see what worked. They want to repeat that process, and they make everything worse because of it. And this isn't just speculation. Read the Nintendo article. The Nintendo CEO quit because Nintendo was so far removed from what he wanted the gaming industry to be. So my solution and what I recommend everybody here to do is the same thing I'm doing. Abandon modern gaming. Stop giving Nintendo your money. Stop giving Activision, Blizzard, even Bandai. Stop giving them your money. They're not worth it. They have proven that they don't care about you as a consumer. So instead, play retro games. And the retro game I recommend, Metroid Fusion. Let me review this game on the things that I missed as a kid, starting with the atmosphere. This goes way beyond just the graphics. Cause sure, the graphics are good, everything's clear, the sprites are well designed, but this goes beyond that. This is more about the theme of the game. Metroid Fusion wants you to feel lost. It wants you to feel like you're one single person stuck in a huge spaceship. And it accomplished that well. Because the graphics are set up in a way where Samus stands out, it kind of gives her a little pop, those little border around it. She pops, and the enemies don't overshadow her in a sense where they take the center stage, but they do intimidate her in a sense of everything here can kill you, even the minor enemies. All while the background colors kind of fade into I don't want to call it being unmemorable, but it for sure doesn't stand out. And I mean this in a good way, sort of like backup dancers, where they don't pull attention from the lead singer. The next aspect of this game that I didn't appreciate when I was a kid was its story. So complicated, yet you didn't have to understand it to enjoy the game. The best way I can explain it is when something is so fun, yet when you deep dive into it, it has so much lore and it just gives you that extra layer of fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's a 10 out of 10 regardless, but when you dig into it more, then you become obsessed with it. Then it becomes this whole new world that opens up to you. And I mean that in the best way. You see, the first layer is fun. The next layer is the lore, which makes the fun that you're having interesting. So now you get embellished in this whole world, in this concept of, wow, this thing was meticulously made. A short recap of just the story alone is that Samus was flying, she crashed into a ship. One of her enemies infused into her body, so she needed to get the vaccine. The Federation that she worked for wants to weaponize this new body, this kind of DNA that Samus has. And in the last moments, she rebels and she blows up the whole ship with any chance to weaponize that new ability. Talking about all these deeper layers of enjoyment to this game really got me thinking about what made this game special. You see, as a kid, that's proof that it didn't need all the graphics, it didn't need a story. I had no idea what was going on. I just know that I was having fun. All you need in a game is the gameplay, is the experience of that power fantasy. When playing an adventure game, that feeling of you're the most wanted person going 100 miles per hour in a racing game. The feeling of being a rock star in Guitar Hero. And that's what modern game is missing. Modern game is missing the passion, the actual fun. So if you haven't tried Metroid Fusion, this is your sign to play it now. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. I'll be reviewing at least 2 retro games per week. And if you made it this far into the video, then why not? Share in the comments below what retro game did I miss that you would want me to play. Things like in the Game Boy Advance era, things like in the PS2 era, things even in the Wii era. I miss these old games, even if they feel kind of chunky, even if they feel kind of have that lag to it. I want something that at least has passion into it. At least you can tell that a human made this, not an AI or not a faceless corporal entity.